Have you ever sat down to create content and somehow you spent the first 20 minutes searching for your ideas? You check your note apps, then your screenshots, your voice notes, maybe your drafts, and then somehow you remember writing down something in a notebook. But which notebook? You can't remember. So by the time you finish looking, you've already lost momentum. You don't feel like creating anymore, no more motivation. If that sounds familiar, then I don't think your problem is ideas. You have enough ideas. But the problem that I see here is you don't know how to manage your ideas. Okay? Idea management seems to be a problem. And for me, fixing that completely changed the way I make content. For a long time, I used to think that creating content has to do with just filming. But then I realized that creating content starts long before you sit down to film. It starts the moment the idea pops into your head. And the thing is, you don't get those ideas at the time you are actually ready to create. No. Sometimes they come when you're cooking, or maybe when you are washing, or doing something very busy. Maybe when you're replying to comments, or when you want to go to bed. And trust me, if those ideas do not have one place to go to, they disappear. They disappear because life keeps moving. Not that the ideas were not good enough, but just because if you don't write it down at that moment in a central place, you just forget about it and it disappears. Because the truth remains that even as content creators, we are trying to balance family, business, work, studies, and everything life throws at us. And so everything is happening at the same time. So if you don't have a place to actually put in those content ideas that pop into your head or come to your mind, then you start looking for them at the time you need them. Personally, I know what I want to create because ideation has already been completed, scripts are ready, but maybe filming has to wait because maybe something pops up, something very important pops up, and I have to deal with that first before coming back to filming. So by the time I come back, I don't want to come back and start looking for the topic or the ideas that I had thought about. By the time I come back, I don't want to waste another 30 minutes trying to remember everywhere and everything or where I'd written them down. No, I just want to come back and film and move on to the next step. So that's when I realized it's not really about having more ideas, right? But having a better system to help you record that idea, develop it, organize it, such that if you take a break from it, you can come back to it and continue from where you've stopped. The biggest loss is not you forgetting a good idea, no. The biggest loss here is your time, the mental load, or the mental energy you spend starting over every time. Like if every of your creating session begins with what should I post? Didn't I already post this? Where is that hook that I was going to use for this idea? Instead of creating, you're searching. Instead of filming, you're trying to remember things. And eventually, creating starts to feel so overwhelming, so exhausting because things are scattered everywhere. You're not even sure what you're doing anymore. And it's not like you're creating too much. You haven't even created what you want to create. But because you haven't really prepared yourself before trying to sit down to film a content. And then every time you want to create, you're trying to make the same decisions over and over. So if I sit down to create, I'm thinking about, oh, where is my hook? Where is my topic? Where is my script? The same thing over and over. Can't you see that is exhausting? Yeah, that's what made content creation feel overwhelming. One thing that changed my content creation process for me was not trusting my memory. Whenever I have an idea, it goes into one place. It doesn't go to my note apps, not a random screenshot or not a voice note. I forget about it because yeah, it happens. So for me, it goes into one place, and from there, I organize it into my content pillars. And when I'm ready to actually make the content, either by filming or by making carousels, I'm not wondering what to post. I'm just going to choose from the ideas that I've already captured and developed, right? Because some of them become videos, some become photo posts, some become carousels and YouTube videos. Now, one idea can become several pieces of content. If I don't feel like filming one idea anymore, I don't panic. I simply choose another one. So that flexibility has taken a lot of pressure from me when creating content. So for every time there's a friction in your content creation process, there's an exhaustion. For every time you have to think about something new because you lost an idea yesterday, that's a friction. But for every time you start from zero, that's a friction. Now, the goal is not for you to try to remember everything with your head, but create a process that helps you do the remembering. Whether that's a notebook, whether it's a spreadsheet or Notion, whether it's something else, it doesn't really matter what. What matters is that every idea has somewhere to go to before you need it. And let it be one place. That way, you're not looking for so many things from so many different sources. One thing I've learned is that life will always interrupt your plans, okay? You get busy, you get unexpected responsibilities. Sometimes you don't even feel like filming. Sometimes editing has to wait. That's why your content system or your content process shouldn't depend on your memory or on motivation. It should be simple enough that whenever you come back to it, you can pick up from where you've left off. Because if you stop asking yourself, what should I post today? Which idea am I building today? you know, when you stop doing all of those things, that small change, that small shift can make the whole content creation process a lot easier for you. So if every content day feels like you are starting from scratch all the time, it doesn't mean that you need more creativity. You might just need a better way to keep track of the creativity that you already have. And this is exactly why I created a simple content idea system. The simple content workflow that I use for capturing my ideas, organizing them, and making creation feel much easier. You can download it using the link in the description. Try it out and let me know how useful it is to you. Also, let me know in the comment section, where do most of your content idea go to? I'm really curious to know how people keep their content ideas. Is it on the note, voice notes, screenshots? Or do you already have a system? Let me know in the comment, because chances are that someone reading your answer is struggling with the exact same thing. Now, if life has ever interrupted your content plans, watch this video where I share how to keep creative even when life interrupts your plan, even when life doesn't go as planned. If you have watched my video up to this moment, I hope I've given you some value. Don't forget to like this video, share, comment, and also subscribe, because this is what will tell YouTube that this video is useful and will also recommend it to other viewers. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to keep it simple and keep creating. I'll see you on my next one.